artists do you think are in Nashville in Christian music? In that whole area? At least 10. So if we can capture at least 10 that we can count on. If we can capture at least 10% of the market.
All right, we are live. We're live. Live on everything.
Hello, world.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Do the Ron Burgundy. And go. San Diego.
Diego.
San Diego.
Oh, shoot.
I do believe diversity was an old wooden ship. Nope. That's not it.
Anybody seen an in-ear case? I put it in here?
Did I put it in here?
What?
Is it in here?
What is in
You
here?
said in here, and it sounded like
In here?
in here. Is it in here?
Is it in here?
It is in
I haven't had.
Could it be in here?
Could it be in here? In here? It's not here.
Man, we got people already just chilling, waiting for the
anybody
call.
knows.
Look at that. Look at that. Already jumping in. Annie's so excited she appears twice every day.
She's going for her next gold star.
Boy.
Bro, are we a media team or what? I keep forgetting how many platforms we're live on right now.
We are a media team. Yeah, where are we? Where are we? How many platforms are we on?
We're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, school.
Wow. This is what it looks like to make it, everybody.
This is what it looks like.
Oh, dude, I think oh, here it is.
We have our first comment already.
60 seconds. Am I zoomed in?
Are you zoomed in? No.
What would zoomed in be? How zoomed in is zoomed in? Black? Oh, there is black.
You've got bars on the side. You're you're cropped. Is that right?
Yeah, it's vertical. Let's go, let's go. We got Leslie Davis in the house. Glad you showed up.
She's here with us.
Join call. How is it going?
Good. I feel like we need a studio tour. I see a lot of instruments behind you.
Oh, I see a lot of keys over there too. Vertical keys. The keyboard stacked to the left. Love a Roland. Wow.
Oh, where you load all the sounds on there?
That's
Heck yeah.
wild. Yeah. Yep. Wow. You got it all. And
Nice.
bongo drums.
Yeah, I see.
We need some
Is that a
bongo
djembe
drums.
in the back?
The vacuum
Is
cleaner.
that a cajon? Cajon? I see a djembe too. You got two of them? Oh, yeah. Gotta
You
have
got
the
a little bit of
cowbell.
everything. Mm-hmm. We need more music instruments in our setup here. Mm-hmm. I was gonna guess
Ooh.
that. You guys ever try to play an organ? That actually takes a significant amount of skill to do it well. Do you remember at Judson there was one student there that was like learning organ, that was majoring in organ?
Really? No,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
He went all in. He moved all the chips into the middle
Everything
on
organ,
organ.
yeah.
He bet all on organ. And then every church replaced them.
With multi-tracks. Multi-tracks. Stomped.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I can't get rid of them.
Yeah, and then you have to like do all the work of taking them out of the wall. You know what I mean? Because they're like built into the foundations of the church. So you have to like, yeah, dig them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
When we get our headquarters for the Anthem Co,
There's not going to be an organ.
let's put an organ.
No. Maybe for aesthetic.
It'll grow on you. If we're gonna put it for aesthetic, we might as well have an.
Could you imagine
piano
if we were
attached to it.
like in a space where we were sharing the building, like a factory, a giant organ? It's like, oh, it's those Anthem guys again.
Every time we get there at 5 a.m., we start our day with a sing along.
Yeah.
An organ
Shakes
organ
the whole
favorite.
building.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Welcome everybody. We're just killing a little bit of time here, letting everybody file in. So we're just hanging out, talking organs.
We have a
for
new
few
member, Mr. David Green.
Hey, welcome, sir.
Mr. David Green is a wizard on many instruments.
Musically, he is a wizard.
Yeah.
He's not actually a wizard.
But I think your main instrument, right, is keys. That's your go-to, your number one.
All day, air day. Did it drop today?
I think we got a few views.
I haven't looked at it.
Yeah, it's on the channel.
It's on our YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sweet. Okay, I'm going to have to go check that out. Not right now.
We'll have
Later.
to drop it in that.
Oh, sweet.
Awesome.
Fantastic. We had an interview, our very first interview with Leslie. Was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? Yep. And we dove a lot actually into a lot of the subjects that we'll probably talk about tonight. And that's why we're like, oh my gosh, there's so much good stuff here. We just got to have you on. We got to have you talk live with everybody. What's Jacob saying here? You do the keyboard in an old piano case, but this time you take a keyboard and set up a whole room, what looks like an organ, but it ends up just being a keyboard. That's the solution. But if we'd put in that much work, we might as well just make it an organ. You know? this is gonna grow on you. I know you're not having it, but I think
I'll have to sleep on it.
I think when you take your vacation to Europe for a week and you come back and there's an organ built in.
Have a vacation to Europe. Are you booking me a vacation to Europe? Please.
You go roast some toasts and you'll come back to an organ.
Got to build up the next budget.
Yep. Well,
Yep.
I think what time? Oh, we're only 6 minutes in. How long do we normally give everybody to trickle in?
I think it's about time.
It's getting
about
close here.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think if there's other people that normally pop in that may want to. Well, we might as well get rolling. Hey, Gio, can you share my screen for a sec? Fantastic. Welcome, everybody. We are doing something a little bit different tonight than we typically do on our Tuesday night calls. This one, as you can see, is a guest speaker mastermind call. Dr. Leslie Davis, welcome.
There we go. Good job, Gio.
Good timing. Good timing. Now, so like I said, guys, a few weeks ago we had a call with Leslie diving into a lot of things around limiting beliefs, things that are blocking artists that most artists are unaware of. And Leslie actually runs what's called Mind Shift, and that is her, as you see, leadership and learning company that she basically does a lot of, what would you call it, like coaching, mentorship? Yeah. Fantastic. That's so good.
We have a lot of jerks in this call, so that'll be helpful.
They're all trying to figure out who you were referencing right now. Everybody's uneasy. They're like, I can't tell who he's referencing. Is it me? So, to give you the flow tonight, guys, here's what it's going to look like. It's going to be a little bit different from our normal Q&A. What we're going to do is we're going to be opening up the floor to Leslie to just kind of run with it for, probably an hour, up to an hour and a half, whatever she feels is gonna work well. And she's going to run the show a little bit, and we're going to get into, inner blocks, belief systems, stuff like that, self-doubt, things that are blocking artists that she's going to speak into. And then she's also going to dive into the voice and how to use a voice. Is that still accurate? Is that kind of what you're planning on for the outline? Okay. And the plan is, with our normal calls, guys, same thing. If you have a question, drop it in the chat. That way, at any point, you're not going to feel like you're interrupting anybody. We will keep an eye on the chat. And Joey and I, will be interjecting here and there if we have some thoughts and everything. And and then at the very end, we can dive even more into just a conversation around some of these questions and such. And of course, guys, at the very end, we will be posting the links and everything. But if you want to look into what Leslie does, the website is Mindshift. Is it ll.com? Mindshifttll.com. Fantastic. Okay.
You want to drop that in the chat, Jason?
Yes. And let me quick text it. Okay. So all that being said, guys, we are going to get rolling. We'll hand the floor over to you, Leslie. We are excited. It is all yours. All right. Okay. Regarding like even the belief systems and like voice and performance, just kind of all of this stuff. Cool. Love that. There's two things that I see being really, really helpful for everybody today. Lately, what we are getting into a lot is success mindsets and the mindset that it truly takes to become a successful artist. Mostly because, after we talked about this on the interview, but after doing this long enough, Joey and I have realized there are patterns to success and to the artists that find the most success. And the artists that find the success always have a specific way of thinking about the world, thinking about their careers, who they're showing up being, patterns of self-sabotage that slow artists down. So I think that could be a really, really cool place to start.
Mm-hmm. And then another one for the future. I know you talked about authenticity. We've talked a lot about authenticity, but regarding different things. So I'd love to get your take on that. And I love what you said about the two types of performance. And I want to hang on the authenticity part and get to that eventually, because I believe, and we've talked about this in the past, that this extends to more than just being on the stage, and more so also now we're getting into social media and your brand and how you convey yourself. Because we've found that one of the biggest roadblocks for specifically Christian artists is it's easy to come up with Christian music or convey yourself. I'm a Christian artist, but there are layers and deeper there that we're almost kind of masking, and we just want people to see the good side of the positive, encouraging side of our music, but we might be a little bit too afraid to show our true past or our true nature or true colors, whatever we want to say. I would love to talk about that.
Cool. Can we start with mindsets?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's get into success mindsets. I'm in the process, Leslie, of actually working on an internal foundations course. So I'm like neck deep right now into the whole concept of limiting beliefs and what all exist as limiting beliefs. I think we should start there. Could you identify, maybe explain from your perspective, what limiting beliefs are and how these things show up in an artist's life that they might not expect it. They don't even know that it's happening, what it looks like. Can we dive into that first? Leslie, okay, so many paths we can take here. There's so many nuggets in here. Guys, let me quick ask you something. For all those who are on this call, have you identified any resistance showing up in your life, your career, since joining the network? Because I would assume all of you have, or if you haven't yet, you probably haven't dove into the course load and everything quite yet. But that is one of the things that we've experienced along our artist journey. And we know a lot of you have been vocalizing lately, is just like, you dive in so much new stuff and all this new stuff, and you know you need to be doing this stuff and working on this stuff, and then procrastination starts to come up, and then resistance starts to come up, and you start to get in your head and feel like you're not putting enough work, not doing enough. And like, how many of you guys, maybe of a raise of hands, are dealing with some level of resistance here? Because I want to find a way to just kind of, make this relevant to you in your situation. Could one of you, for example, maybe share a piece of resistance that you've been identifying popping up in, like, just in your music career? Great share, dude. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Would you like to speak into that at all, Leslie? Fantastic. Did you and I talk about this a while ago, of like actually thinking about the worst case scenario? Or I might have heard that somewhere else, but actually sit with the worst case scenario and like feel it. Like, okay, so this is the worst that it can get.
And I've always said, like, with what we've been trying to build is, so what if it fails? You learn something, and you learn something didn't work. So you're not going to try it again. You're going to try something new or try something different.
It's still painful.
It's
but
very painful.
It really sucks. But at the end of the day, you're like, I did level up in a way that maybe not the way that I wanted to, but I learned what path not to take. So if anything, it's like Einstein. How many was it? Not Einstein. Guy that made the light bulb. Edison. Yeah. Einstein. Yeah. How many attempts did they say it took him? It was like 1,000. It was like something stupid. Yeah. Just absurd. Who keeps going at that point? Somebody who knows that it's their mission, their purpose, right? That they believe in it, right?
And the other thing I would add to that is, by starting and trying something, you're actually headed in a direction to where you'll know more, and the faster that you go in that direction, the faster you'll learn. So, for example, we've been talking a lot about Facebook ads, and if you start really small, and this is a direct comparison with Facebook ads and data. So if you start really small and you spend $1 a day on ads, you're going to get a certain level of data that comes back at you. But if you spend $100 a day on ads, you're going to see what works way quicker, 100 times faster. You'll see the results. And we apply that to taking action with the example like growing this Anthem network. How do we grow a community? How do we build all of this stuff? The faster we learn, the faster we'll know what works and what doesn't. But the thing is, the longer people hesitate, the more years will go by before they know what works and what doesn't. And it's actually this kind of spiral that starts to happen where a lot of overthinking starts to creep in.
And by the way, guys, when we're talking about resistance to all this stuff, Joey and I are actively running into resistance just with this network because it is another new thing that is completely different from our music careers. So eventually you start to get numb to, okay, I finally broke through the resistance and now this is the new normal for me. Awesome. But then you start another new thing and it's like, oh my gosh, I thought I was done having to deal with this resistance. So the same resistance that you guys are actively probably feeling right now, just in the Anthem network, like Jacob with that example of like just letting yourself dream big and actually dream about what is possible with your career, and then all these limiting beliefs and everything start coming up, the resistance that you're feeling there, you know, it might look like, oh, Jason and Joey get to lead the podcast, get to lead the network. We're still experiencing that level of resistance, just now with a different thing. And this is where we're starting to really pick up on these patterns, because until you learn to acknowledge the resistance, befriend it, you know, almost welcome it, because like Leslie said, it is actually the resistance that builds the muscles from the workout. If there was no resistance, we'd all be skinny bean poles, you know? there'd be no muscle. Is that what they call them? Hmm. I know you're going to want to speak into this as well, Dewey. But something that this is the perfect interjection spot for this. Aaron, you're on the call right now, Aaron Shores. And so, dude, we were going back and forth in the community post that I asked, hey guys, what, limiting beliefs are you identifying that you're dealing with? And one that Aaron was bringing up was, this dream goal, this dream destination, just, it feels out of reach, especially because, listen, I have financial responsibilities. I have a family. I have a wife. I have kids to provide for, and feeling like music can fulfill all of that right now, it feels impossible. It feels completely out of reach. And one thing that I was talking to him about in a response is actually something we also talked about on our interview, Leslie, which is this idea of, I think we brought it up when we were talking about affirmations. It's like, okay, affirmations are great until they go a little too big and your nervous system and your mind immediately shut it down because it's like, we're not even going to acknowledge that potential because that is way too far out there. And one thing that I was making the analogy of is, okay, let's say there is, a homeless man on the street and he has this vision of, I want to live in a mansion, big multi-million-dollar mansion. Cool. How realistic does it look like it would be for him to jump straight to the mansion and get to sustain that long term? Pretty unrealistic, yeah? But is it more realistic? Okay, if that's your destination and this is where you are, now we can create an actual path. So maybe we need to start with teaching you how to build skills and get jobs. And maybe it's a lower paying job, but then you get enough for a basic starter apartment, nothing great, nothing fancy. And then maybe after a year getting more skills and everything, now you can get a better apartment. And maybe there's a few versions of the apartment till finally I can get a starter home and a townhome. And then I can live there a few years and then I can learn more and then I can build up from there. And eventually, maybe fast forward 10 years, and he is now in a place to be the person capable of getting that mansion and sustaining it because it's a part of his personality now. That was kind of the analogy that I was bringing up for Aaron of like, okay, this is good. Let's say like everybody's dream is to have millions of monthly listeners, millions of streams, everything working. But if right now that seems impossible, that's your body telling you we probably need to break that thing down into baby steps and things that feel like you can accomplish them. Maybe you could speak into this, Leslie, because I know we had a great conversation around this. It's filtered. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Some bars right
Yeah,
there, dude.
I like
Whew.
what the concept of the mirror within and
Yep.
like all of these different external things that have happened to you can fracture that mirror and crack
Distort it.
distort
Yeah.
what you see about the world. I think there's another very particular fracture for artists, and a lot of that happens in the sensationalism of the overnight success. We have The Voice, and we have American Idol, and we have one video pops off on TikTok. It forces us to believe that the people that are successful and famous are the ones that just blow up overnight by one video, or somebody that got noticed by somebody else who's higher up in the music industry, food chain. It's this lie that we believe that if it doesn't happen within a video or a month or 6 months or a year or 5 years or longer, that we're not successful. It has to happen quickly. And I was talking to Jason earlier today about I can remember every obstacle and every win also of the last 10 years that we've been doing music. And it was never overnight. We might be sitting here with a podcast and we were able to purchase, like we have to like be the point of like being grateful and like taking a look at the past wins, like the fact that we were able to just get a podcast set up because we wanted to, like we would have never like dreamed that when we first started this, even 5 years ago.
The cost was that of an album for like producing a full album. Yeah.
And the thing is, like, there are days that we will sit here and we still feel like we didn't accomplish anything. Like we have those days, but we have to keep looking back at the past wins, and we still feel like we're on a trajectory. There's never been a point where we felt like the success went like this.
Except for when the first album popped off where the streams literally did that.
And the thing is, what you said about that's good too, because even if you do have a viral moment, there is a downside somewhere, and you're going to have to deal with that in your gut, with the downside of when the thing stops performing as well as it has been for a year, and you have to, who are you now?
Bingo.
Like who are you now after you've had maybe some success in an area? How has that changed you? Are you going to keep pushing forward, or are you going to ride on what happened in the past? So that's kind of our experience.
As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, one of my favorite guys to study, your personality creates your personal reality. So it's interesting because you're like, let's say you get that moment of success, guys. Something pops off, and you think it's going to last forever, but maybe it lasts a month. Well, are you still the same person? Like, who are you now, with or without that thing, right? Can you be the version of you? I guess think about it like this, guys. If we're thinking our end goal is as a music career, can you be that person now? Can you find a way to view the world and think of yourself and treat yourself like that person now? Because if you can, you're going to start acting like it. You're naturally going to start to like lead yourself there. One thing that I wanted to quick ask everybody is this, because I love this idea, Leslie, of the external mirroring the internal. How many of you guys are fully satisfied with your lives right now? With, let's say, just musically, with your careers and everything? Or are you seeing external things that are popping up that you're not satisfied with? How many of you are seeing those things pop up right now? Anybody? You can raise your hands. You can leave a comment. Yeah. Okay, lots of hands. The typical reaction from a human is we almost just like don't want to look at it because it's painful and it hurts. But in reality, that thing is actually showing us, it's helping us. It's the resistance. It's showing us
where we need to be showing up differently and becoming that next version of ourselves. But typically the habit is, I don't want to, that hurts. I don't feel good. My ego hurts. I'm going to ignore it. So maybe we could speak into, you know, what a good next step would be for those on this call, these artists watching this. Maybe, okay, so now they have this exercise, right, of slowly starting to figure out what isn't working in your life. Maybe what are the next steps after you start to identify that stuff? What would an intention look like for them? Whew. I think that one hit.
Golden nuggets.
I think that one resonated. It seems like this is kind of organically flowing into the topic of authenticity now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you wanted to circle back to that. It might be a good time for that.
Yeah, I think it might come down to what Jacob was saying about, especially for Christian artists who are supposed to be like positive and like encouraging all the time. How do you capture that and reach your audience? Because in a world of chaos and depression and all of that stuff, it seems like people need somebody that's real. But we're out here focusing on like just the music part of it, which is great because you can obviously help people with your music. But what would you advise Christian artists? How would they go deeper on their brand and have a deeper connection with their audience past their music? Yeah. One thing I'd like to add too, maybe for the people who are struggling to find the audience or think about the audience, try to think about you're in the people business, not necessarily the music business, because you need to be thinking about more about the people who are behind the streams and behind the view counts, because those are the people that want to connect with you. They want to hear more from you and your story, because your story is what is actually connecting with the people. And obviously your story, it will come out in your music, hopefully. But instead of just trying to write for Becky, who's on the radio, so you can get radio streams and radio listens, is Becky actually your audience? Like, is that the person that would resonate most with your story? Or are there other people out there that you need to be thinking of and gearing your attention, whether it be through your content or through your music, towards? Because those are the people that you're trying to reach.
And you don't want to know what I think. I think one of the difficult things to balance as an artist is that mindset of really remembering the whole point of what you're doing, but then also being able to balance that with the business mindset that we teach on a lot of, yes, also on top of that, we need to be thinking, yes, about marketing and yes, about success, especially as independent artists. If you don't have a team around you, you are the marketing team. You are the funding team. You are the production team. And I think a reason that this music journey wears a lot of artists out is because we get life from what you're talking about, Leslie, that connection, that purpose, the reason we started this thing. But then we realize we have to do all the other stuff that isn't necessarily life-giving, the admin work, the responding to emails, the businesses, dealing with annoying people, haters in the comments, all this stuff. And pretty soon the life is sucked out of you and you kind of just don't feel like doing it anymore. So maybe the real challenge here is to strike a balance between the two.
Yeah, this is something that we were talking about, Jason and I, couple of weeks ago, about, because we were talking about when you were starting the internal foundations course, about it's kind of like if you were to think of a wheel or a tire, there's two sides to it. One side is the doing, like you just have to do the work and then you'll believe it over time. You'll believe in yourself more after you get more reps. And then the other side, you need the inspiration. You need to just believe it from within, which forces you to do the work. And then that reinforces. So it's like your belief in yourself and the work kind of go hand in hand. But sometimes, and it happens a lot of the time with new challenges, new skills, new whatever, you might start at a different side. So sometimes you might just need to just do the work and post 100 videos and you'll feel something more within yourself. Oh, I know how to edit better. I have better ideas now. Like, I see this happening. Like, I believe that I can do this now, which reinforces your belief in yourself, which forces you to do more action. And sometimes you have to start at the other side.
But it'll be terrifying. That's the thing. So it's like, it's not going to feel good. The whole point of what Joey's saying is the more you do it, though, and the more repetition you put in, the more you start to believe you are that person, right? So your personality starts to reflect that action that you're taking. So it's almost like there's two ends of it. It's like you can technically start on both sides of the wheel, and sometimes different parts of life and your career require you to pick a different spot, because you guys might be realizing, I'm never going to feel fully safe and comfortable right now posting on social media once a day, super authentically and with vulnerability. Okay, so that means I probably just need to go take the action, even though it's going to feel really awful. But can I do it long enough where now my beliefs and my personality start to mirror that thing, and I start to get that internal change from the external action? Eat the frog. Tell me more about this.
I feel like I've heard of this. You just got to eat the frog.
I've heard about boiling a frog, but I don't know about eating the frog. You eat it after you boil it. They go together. Eat the frog. Yep. Yep. I have heard of it. I haven't read it.
Heard of it. Mm-hmm. That was every single skill that it took to build this company. The amount of times that we were this close to just giving up and just not,
y'all have no idea,
not finishing the skill, or like, for example, website was like one of the things, like the amount of time,
Photoshop,
but the
Adobe.
thing is, like, the more obstacles you overcome, editing, figuring out how to do a podcast, like the more obstacles that you overcome, like the more willing you are to dive into the next thing, because you're like, okay, I've done it 5 other times with these 5 other things.
I know I can do it.
I know I can do it, and it's like, I think the term is called frustration tolerance. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's like, how long can you sit with the thing until eventually it just clicks? And it might take days or weeks. You might have to sleep on it many times. But how long can you stare the frog in the face and try
I don't think that's
to eat the thing?
Okay.
How many attempts? You might have to attempt to eat the frog 10 times, but you're attempting.
I have a quote that I was going to bring up later, but it's success is your ability to go from failure to failure without giving up. Really think about that, guys, because success, we're always thinking of this end destination. Oh, I need that thing so that I can feel that feeling of success. And by the way, guys, something we get into that internal foundation course is just the fact that emotions are just the end result of an experience. The only reason you really want something in life, this experience, is because you want the emotional payoff. Really sit with that for a second. You want the new car. Why? Sure, it's going to be fun to drive and everything, but it gives you a feeling of something that you're now allowing yourself to feel that you weren't allowing yourself to feel when you had the older car. Not as cool. Okay? Same thing goes with music success. Why do you want 1 million streams on a song, for example? What are you going to feel? What are you going to give yourself permission to feel then about yourself, as opposed to, why can't you just give yourself permission to feel that right now? And then when you start to give yourself permission to feel that, you become the person that inevitably can get you to the other thing because you don't even care about it anymore. You remove a lot of those like procrastinations and the really big resistances, and finally can start moving through that stuff. There were other ways I was going to take that, but that's where we ended up.
But yeah, just to reiterate that, like if you feel miserable right now at 1,000 streams on a song, you're going to take that and apply that same feeling. You're going to feel that same way at 1 million streams.
Yeah.
When we hit 1 million streams on a song, it was great for like 5 seconds. And we went back to feeling the way that we've always felt. And then eventually you kind of become numb to everything. And like your brain adjusts to the new normal. And then anything less than that is like even worse of a feeling. Like anything less than...
Yeah, because you're still gonna have that. Oh, it didn't do the result. You're like still feeling the same feelings you felt back when you were just getting started. And you're like, have I changed at all? Like this, I'm still feeling the same way. But one thing that I wanted to add to was, guys, the only reason that Joey and I have been able to like get to where we are with the career, and not even say we've quote made it, but we've done a lot and have had really cool results. It's because I think our cheat code, dude, is that we just are unwilling to give up when things get difficult. And we've just seen it too many times, or if we push a little bit further, the breakthrough happens. And sometimes it takes a little bit longer than what we wanted and we expected, but we just decide that we're not going to stop, and then the breakthrough happens. For example, guys, the meta ads course, how many of you are going through this right now? I don't know if you've looked at this yet, Leslie, but we have a course in this classroom where we teach everybody how to run meta ads to grow their own playlists on Spotify so that you can own your, yeah, there you go. So you can own your own playlist network, right? Instead of having to pitch to other people and rely on other people, it's like build something that you own. Well, that course, guys, that didn't exist like it does in our classroom section in school. It didn't exist like that for us. And dude, I don't even know how many hours we spent trying to piece every random course together and every random video and try different things and waste so much money. If we would have stopped, think about this. I don't know if you ever thought about this. This just hit me now. If we would have stopped the meta ads course, think of the chain reactions that wouldn't have been set in motion. Because if that didn't hit, this album doesn't pop off.
You're saying our skill of knowing,
meta ads.
Knowing how to run meta ads.
It started with something so basic, and you could say, oh, this is just a simple skill. Like, it's not, my career isn't dependent on it. Maybe it's not, but maybe it's the thing, the first domino that is set up that is meant to launch everything for you, but because you can't show up and conquer that thing, the other dominoes never get knocked over. And for us, It was because we got really good at those things, and then a project took off, and then artists reached out to us wanting marketing help, so we became a marketing agency, and then we realized we should be doing label stuff and creating project with artists, and then we do that long enough, and pretty soon we're like, wow, there's an education problem. Like, nobody's talking about what actually works. Then we come to the Anthem Network. It's like, here we are today, all the way back to that first domino, and it was COVID, 2020. We're working both of us are working multiple jobs, trying to launch the thing. Everybody thinks we're crazy. We have no vision for the thing. We're doing all of this stuff. We're putting all of our money, investing all of our money into courses that aren't working. But that was the thing. That was the thing that like set everything up. And we had to become different versions of ourselves in the process.
And if we think about just the ads when we were learning that, we had a miniature version of the Anthem Network, which was a party of two, because when I would give up on meta ads for a day,
that's me and Joey, by the way, everybody.
it's like when we were both trying to figure out meta ads. When I quit for one day, you worked on it for a day, and then when you quit that day,
Bro.
I picked up on it, and then we just put the pieces together.
Some days we would complain together,
and some days we'd quit,
yeah,
and then come back the next day. And that's kind of the point of what we're doing with this Anthem Network, is like we want to help with the frustration tolerance. Like, there's people trying to figure out this stuff together at the same time, and like I know we haven't done any like challenges like, oh, let's post for 30 days or whatever. Like, we never did any like official challenge, but I just know that like by people being in the group at the same time, I would assume, and I've seen that you guys have gotten more output in what you're already doing. And I think it's just the osmosis of having kind of a collective of people.
Good word. Osmosis. Huge. It's difficult. And you guys might realize too, it might be, this is in the course, was working on it last night, this realization that, do you have a tendency to give up on yourself more than you would give up on somebody else? Right? Do you have a tendency to be a little more negative or mean to yourself internally with your self-talk than you would to somebody else? And that's where, man, again, like, I'm not going to give up on what we're doing at the Anthem Co and everything, no matter how I feel, no matter what the environment is telling us. Oh, maybe it's not mirroring back what we want it to yet. I'm not going to give up though, because I know that guy right there is not going to give up. Yeah, I'm not going to be the one, you know. I'm going to be the one out of the two of us that derails this thing.
Chicken out. Don't chicken out.
Yeah. So it's just something to think about, guys. When you really build a core team, a group of people, community, or really a family around you, knowing that everybody else around me isn't giving up. Oh, I know they're not going to stop. It keeps you going just a little bit more. And to maybe tie a bow on what you started with, Leslie, talking about the limbic brain, emotionally reactive, right? That like you kind of feel out of control. When you guys sense that, you probably aren't in a brainwave state to tackle the thing well. So we take a break. You take a day off, and you come back in that next state of mind, and now you're thinking a little more optimistically, a little bit more clearly, and whoa, wait, I thought this was going to be harder. I found the solution. The amount of times we've had to do that with meta ads specifically, guys, it's stupid. Even building that course, we ran into stuff again where we're like, this is why nobody made this course like this. Like, this sucks, you know? It's like, even now, we have to recognize, okay, what brainwave state am I operating in right now? Okay, now that I'm aware of this, I can recognize this isn't me. This is just a state right now. I'm going to chill and I'm going to come back. Yeah. 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 That's good. Leslie Davis King Jr. She had a dream, everybody.
Yeah.
That's so good. Guys, how is this resonating for all of you? I see a lot of notebooks and pencils and writing happening. So I'm assuming this means some of this stuff is relevant and making sense for you all. Maybe let's quick open it up for a couple minutes to see if you guys have any thoughts on this.
Looks like we have a chat.
There's about a million things in here. Yeah, jump in, Jarrell, if you want to mention something. No, appreciate that, dude. Yep.
I mean, we've lived that.
Have you experienced that before?
Oh my
Joey?
gosh. Yeah.
What? Shocker.
It's it's a creative, the curse of the creative space for sure.
You know, no, jump in, dude.
Yeah.
Well, it just so happens you are the focus of this call, Leslie.
We have a doctor.
Jump on in. Hmm. Oof. Oh, there's some bars right there. You know, and one thing that made me think of is, guys, life often doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you tolerate. And usually that comes back to self-worth, self-respect, worthiness. Joey and I are starting to get better at this. And we actually just recognized that in the last couple of weeks, because we're always having conversations with lots of artists and prepping for projects and stuff. And
text threads, lots of email threads, just random.
a million things. And we've learned that we've made enough mistakes now that now we have learned that we get what we tolerate and that it's okay to set boundaries and to not always just take whatever is available, whoever is available, whatever the opportunity is available. That doesn't always mean it is in alignment. Sometimes it's easy to take that thing out of fear. Oh, someone's giving me an opportunity. I'm going to take it because I'm in a lack mindset, because I don't think I'm going to get another one of those. Even though you know it's not the right fit and it kind of sucks the energy out of you and sucks the life out of you, you tolerated it. And because of that, you got it. And there's a tendency you'll get more of it because of that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And Jarrell, I can give you a specific story about this. You can apply this or not, but for us, our boundary as a company, as a record label, initially that boundary was razor thin on who we would work with for a lot of the reasons that you're describing. For example, as a record label, projects that we would pay for, artists we would collaborate with, and actually their brands would show up on our pages. Our boundary was razor thin, and even when we would go get lunches or go to coffees with like industry people who are maybe not an artist collaboration, but the conversations that go really well at lunches or coffees, and you think something's going to come out of that because that's what everybody said, and then you send a follow-up email and you never hear from them again, or a follow-up text. And our boundaries were razor thin at the beginning. Now, our boundaries keep getting thicker and thicker, but it's not because that it's not that we're traumatized. We have a system in place for that. So on the outside of the boundary, we have very low expectations for people. And that's not looking down on them. It's just, we don't really expect anything at all. Anything to come out of, we just had a great coffee or a great lunch. We got to hang with a person. And if something comes out of it down the road 3 years from now, great. Very low expectations. But what we have in place further, once they make it through that boundary and they've made it through our process of what our values are, we have extremely high expectations for that. And that is really just because we know that individual, that opportunity, that collaboration, we are all on the same page and we're ready to rock. And as we become more successful and familiar with who we are and what we've achieved, the higher the expectations go, and the opportunities with people at the same level, the same skill set, those are the people that we're looking for. So I hope that gives you some constructive advice. But
Yeah, Jarrell, it sounds like that might be something that you could prioritize this week, is getting really clear on what those 3 to 5 core values are that you want to see reflected back in the people that you work with. Because I'm willing to bet if you start choosing people to work with based off of that, you'll run into less of these expectations not being met and this frustration of, oh, they keep delaying. Well, maybe they're not the person, in the first place.
one of the first, yeah.
Mm. Yep. Yep.
I mean, one of our first values, like I'll just tell you, like with this Anthem network,
No guitar players.
no guitar players.
That's the
only
first
I
value.
can be the only guitar player in this group. No. One of the first things that we look out for is, does this person do what they say they're going to do, and do they show up? That's like number one. And if we don't see that, we're probably not going to collaborate at some point, because we don't know, the relationship hasn't been established quite yet.
One thing that we're using, and to be transparent, like one thing that we really use actively, guys, to figure out who our people are now is the Anthem Network. And like, we look and see who's on the calls, who's participating, who's putting in work, who's working on themselves. You guys don't realize it, but it's like a very long-term interview.
It's a very tangible boundary that we have,
Yeah.
but it's constructive.
But you
Like
don't.
this is the most, I guess, the most relationships we can have, like openly with people
At once.
at one time, to get a vibe.
Yep.
We never had that
It's
before.
like a very, very long-term interview process where none of us necessarily know what's going to come out of it. None of us are necessarily even looking or expecting anything to come out of it. But the longer we start to see, oh wow, I think they hold the same values as we do. Look at the work they're putting in and how they're showing up, and they're like, oh, and now we're thinking in our head, I bet there's going to be a future opportunity for them somewhere. And like that's just kind of how this stuff works. And the more authentically, guys, you start showing up as yourself in alignment with those values, the more natural and just easier it is to start to find your people. You just start to magnetize them. They start to likes to be around right? Game recognizes game, as they say. As you start showing up more authentically as yourself, more people who also want to be doing that in their life are going to be attracted to you. And, this is how you kind of build a community and build something around yourself. Yes. Yes. Yes, we are. Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you brought this up because this is critically important, guys. I'm curious, for how many of you have Joey and I slowly moved into your top 5 with these weekly calls for 2 hours and like the amount of time that we spend in the network? have we shifted into any of your top 5s? Just a raise of hand. I'm just curious because we're 6 months into this network. I'm curious if anybody. So Annie thinks so. Yeah. Sylvia. Yeah. So it's such a subtle thing, guys, a small thing, but what we would have given when we were just getting started in our careers to have this, to have access to people that have achieved the things that we want to achieve and are willing to break it down for us step by step and jump on calls and build relationship. Have you started to notice yet? You're slowly starting to think a little bit differently after your time in the network. Some of you just got here a few weeks ago. I see you nodding your head, Jacob. Like, you've only been here a few weeks, man. And like, so I know you're doing the work. You're starting to jump into this stuff. But do you notice you're starting to already think differently? Like, oh my goodness. It's like you might not even realize you're learning and growing yet, but you are subtly absorbing the energies from around you, the personalities from around you, right? And you might not notice it until all of a sudden you wake up 6 months later and you're like, man, somebody asked me a question before, and like the way that I responded, like, oh my goodness, like what was that? Or you might run into an old friend of yours that you haven't seen in a really long time, and now you realize, like, I don't seem to have quite as much in common as we used to. And something we get into in this course, guys, is social contracts, social agreements. And the people in your life, whether you know it or not, you have what are called social contracts with them. You have these underlying agreements that for some, hey, my agreement with Sally is that every Tuesday we get together and we complain about life. We haven't verbally said this is our agreement, but every time we're together, what do we end up doing? We end up complaining because she ends up complaining about something, then it pulls this need to complain from me out, and pretty soon we're just feeding each other with complaining. And then I've got my friend Dean over here, and me and Dino, we talk about, we keep each other in fear. And for some reason, that social agreement, that social contract is every time we're together, somehow it always leads to more fear or this sense of fear. And I leave a little more fearful and a little less confident about life. And now you surround yourself with enough of those people, guys. Start to analyze, okay, the sum of the 5 people around you, the people closest in your life right now, look at the social contracts. Are they serving you? Or are they actually keeping you limited, holding you back, pulling you down? This is why what Leslie just said is so valuable. You are the sum of the people around you, and that's just an actionable way to see, okay, yes, it's energy, but here's also a real-world example, because what you say, what you speak, how you think, how you show up as, your personality trains your personal reality, and it turns into this this self-fulfilling prophecy, because the more you speak it and the more you become it, the more you do it, which fuels the feelings of like, oh no, this is me. So then you're going to act the same way again. You're going to show up the same way again. And pretty soon 10 years goes by and you didn't get your dream music career. And you say the industry is unfair. And that's what happens to a lot of artists. And they quit because the industry was unfair. But really, was it?
The other thing I've noticed is sometimes that in the music space, there is a correlation between friend groups and monthly listeners and social media following.
It's funny, actually. This is a real thing, guys.
And there are there's a positive and a negative side. You could look at it. You could be like, okay, the people that all have 100,000 followers on Instagram hang out together. There could be a negative side where they just want to like buddy with people who are quote unquote more famous. But there could be more of a constructive side. And where I'm going with this is the collective of the 5 people, the culmination of the 5 people, their habits, the way they see life, it all rubs off on each other. And the thing is, like, as soon as an artist, especially, you'll figure out who's really friends with each other when one of the artists actually pops off, and then they completely they change their 5 friends, and now they're in a completely different stratosphere, and they left the other artists in the friend group with less monthly listeners or less followers. It's not every time, but I've seen it a handful of times. And a lot of the times, like, it's the habits and beliefs that are keeping all of the artists in the same spot, and they're all feeding into each other.
So are you saying that to hit that next level, they realized they actually had to break free of that and move away from it? Is that what you're alluding to? That artist that breaks out is like,
yeah, or it's like they're, for example, like in an echo chamber. It's like, let's say everybody's sitting at 1,000 monthly listeners, and they're all listening to advice from people with 1,000 monthly listeners because of they're the 5 people. But if they join something like the network, now there's different variants of monthly listeners.
Yeah.
And maybe you learn a little meta ads hack and you just apply that. And then all of a sudden you go from 1,000 to 10,000 monthly listeners because you gain that one little skill from somebody who was ahead of you.
yeah.
If that makes any sense.
And in that same situation, guys, it's social contracts again. You don't realize it because these aren't stated. They're just underlined. These other artists that might be in the same position as you, you're all thinking the same, you're all talking the same, you're all acting the same, and thus you become an echo chamber for each other. And if nobody's willing to break out and do what Leslie is really leading us here to do, and really start questioning and thinking bigger and like questioning what programs are running behind the scenes that are causing a lot of this stuff. If nobody's willing to do that, you're just going to realize it's an echo chamber. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
bars. There's been a lot of those on this call. Whew. Guys, our time is winding down here, and it's wild. I don't know if you can tell, but we have this tendency after only 2 calls with Leslie, we can talk for hours about this stuff and not even be close to having hit it all. We didn't even get into the mechanics of the voice at all, and you know what? That's okay. Maybe in the future we'll find an opportunity to have you back on or collaborate again and dive into that aspect of it, perhaps. But wow. That is
Love it. Thank you.
That is very generous. As we wrap this up, Leslie, let me ask you this. What would you like to leave the artists, this community, everybody that we share this information with? What message would you like to leave with everybody that perhaps we have not covered yet on this call? I have some thoughts on that eventually, but keep going. I know. Actually, it would take an hour. Hmm. What a way to wrap it.
Gold mine.
Fantastic. Guys, if you got some value out of this, you know, drop a comment in here for Leslie. And so let's do this. Leslie, where can everybody keep in touch with you, follow you? If they want to work with you, if they want more info about your courses and everything that you do, how can they find you? We're going to put all of this in the bottom of the videos as well. Yeah, but maybe that'd be a good thing to share. She's lurking in the
She's
shadows.
always watching.
Okay. Sweet.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Is it a school community? Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Sweet.
Okay. And then, do you have an Instagram or profile that? Could you type that in? I have a feeling Bayless might confuse a few of the spellers. Okay. Okay.
Cool.
Perfect. Okay, well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all that information and we'll put under the video. This was so good. We're gonna be cutting this up for sure and putting this into the internal foundations course permanently, so everybody can find this and this information that you're referencing during that, because it was so valuable. And yeah, I'm really excited for this. This is gonna be so helpful for everybody that sees it. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah.
We
Thanks,
genuinely
Leslie.
appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Incredible.
Love it.
Well, okay,
Yeah,
tell you
thank you
what
so
we'll
much.
do. We'll stop recording and we'll end it here. Leslie, you can hang on for a couple minutes yet, and everybody else can bounce. But guys, thank you. Hope you all got value out of this, and we will see you on the
See you next week.
Tuesday call.